Right, time to bring in our experts onto the show. Mr. Gavaskar, I start with you, sir. As the Indian team, the way they were batting, would you say it worked in our favour that we were all out and we had 21 overs to bowl to the Aussies today?
It certainly did. You know, there are times, when teams are thinking in terms of a declaration and suddenly they find that they are dismissed. So it actually saves them a lot of time, and that's what happened with India. For all you know, if they had gone on for some time more, they might have batted till maybe just 20 minutes, half an hour before the end of the 4 days play and wouldn't have got those 3 wickets. So getting these 3 wickets has been a real bonus. They've got a good lead, a handy lead of 91, and the ball is turning. And for me, the most important thing is that Ravichandran Ashwin didn't get wickets in the first innings. He's due for a haul in the second innings.
All right, Deano, also just looking ahead to tomorrow, how the first session pans out. Will that give us a clear indication on how this match is going?
Okay, this is how the match stands. The Aussies are 16 runs behind. There's 98 overs left in the day, and they would have to bat at least the first 70 overs. And if they don't make close to 200 runs, I dare say maybe 210, 220 in that time, then it's curtains, because that means I dare say that India at their best can whack down. Well, even if we just get 200 runs in front, that means they need to get 180 off their last 30, and I think they should be able to get them. So the first 2 sessions, it's going to be a great day's play. There's no doubt about it, and we know how good the Indians are with T20 cricket playing on the home soil. So this game is set up here for 2 results, either an Indian win or a draw.
Mr. Gavaskar, just talking about the Indian batting, would you have liked them to declare a little earlier? I mean, they didn't declare, but they were all out, but would you have wanted them to declare a little earlier?
Well, it doesn't matter now. I mean, whether I would have wanted or not doesn't matter, because what has happened has happened. In cricket, things sometimes work out for the best, and so I think what has happened is it has worked out for the best. That India got many more overs at the Australians than they would have if they had continued batting. So in a way, what has happened for India's good.
Also, do you know, not too many positives coming out of the Aussie camp. One though was Peter Siddle, who seems to have done his homework going into this ground where he's made his debut.
Yeah, he went vegetarian about a year ago, worried about his weight, really trained very, very hard, is conscious of his workloads. His first 2 tests, he was underdone, bowled rod and lengths, didn't understand to bowl a lot of balls into the shoebox outside off stump. Today, and with Lyon, they bowled in the best partnership the Aussies have done for the whole series. So were absolutely brilliant, both of them. And I know that Lyon finished up with figures of 1 for 124, but that first couple of hours was absolutely superb. And I'm really happy for Peter now that realises that you have to bowl flat out. And his numbers now, I think he's nearly got 40 tests. He's got well over 145 wickets already. He's well on the way of really having a fantastic career, but he's just starting to learn now to be the #1 bowler for Australia, and he has to bowl over 135, 140 clicks consistently or he'll get murdered.
Staying with the bowlers, Mr. Gavaskar, credit to Bhuvneshwar Kumar as well for answering his captain's call when needed.
Well, as far as Australia is concerned, what I would like to just add is that once again, their best bowlers, that is their new ball bowlers, picked the wickets. Their new ball bowlers haven't bowled well in the first 2 test matches. Siddle's been off colour. Mitchell Starc, who when we saw him in Australia was able to get the ball to come back into the right-handers, wasn't able to do so. When he did that with the second innings, the Indian batting collapsed. With the second new ball, the Indian batting collapsed. And I think that is Australia's strength. Because, you can bring spinners, but if your spinners are not quality spinners, they're not going to take wickets. It's just like India's new ball bowlers going and bowling in South Africa and Australia. If you're not quality new ball bowlers, you can't say that Pattinson and Siddle and Dale Steyn in South Africa and Mohali and Philander are getting wickets while our new ball bowlers aren't. Because if you don't have the quality, you're not going to get the wickets. Just because you run in from a distance and bowl seam up, you're not going to get wickets. And similarly, just because you have a ball and you twirl it with the fingers or use your wrist, that doesn't make you a spinner either.
Also, sir, just looking ahead now, obviously the way the team is shaping up, our team composition, our team combination, looking ahead, would you say the Indian team is pretty much out of that transition mode and we've got a set combination looking ahead?
I think it's looking good. It certainly is looking good. Yes, you will always need the little, the odd change here and there to make it a complete one. You'll never get a team that is total or that is the whole team. You'll always have somebody or the other who you keep on thinking, if he could have been there. For example, an all-rounder, quality all-rounder coming in at number 6, 7 or 8 would be fantastic for the Indian team. And that really hasn't happened. Jadeja is coming through, but as a batsman, if he starts contributing, and I'm not even saying hundreds, if he starts contributing 40s, 50s quite regularly, then India will find the all-rounder that they're looking for. So yes, I think the team is getting there, but we'll just have to be a little patient with it.
You certainly have to be a little bit of patient. You're right there, Sonny, and the Australians have been patient with Hughes. Like, he was very lucky to play in this match. Of course, the Aussies, we know they dropped for cricketers because they didn't do their homework, but ultimately Hughes was interested in today under a lot of strength. Sonny, he struggled, he backed himself, he went after the bowling today. My first scary movie I ever watched was called The Blob, and I watched it underneath the bed. It was the scariest movie, and I was watching Phil Hughes underneath the bed that first 30 or 40 runs he made today. But I'm really happy for him, the way he went after it. Look, his career is almost chopped away if he missed out today, and I just hope he can go on to make 100, because that will get rid of some of his knockers. What do you think the way he played today, Sonny?
I thought, as you said quite rightly, I think he was a bit lucky. He took his chances, but that's, I think, understandable, because he's been poking and prodding and not getting anywhere. So he decided that, look, if he's going to go down, he'll go down fighting. So once your mind is free of that, you play your shots, you get a few in the middle of the bat, the odd one, the inside edge, the outside edge, and suddenly you know you're 30, 40, and from there on you tend to settle down. And that's what seems to have happened with Hughes. In fact, when he was playing Ashwin, you could say he was actually very lucky that he was not in form, because if he had been in form, he had got closer to the ball and he would have been caught. He would have edged it and been caught. But he was not in form, so he was playing and missing by a fair distance. But for Australia's sake, he needs to carry on from his innings and maybe get 100 and a big 100.
I agree.
Also, Mr. Gavaskar, since we are looking ahead, so 289 is the opening stand that Shikhar Dhawan and Murali Vijay did put up. Would you say post this, since our next series is in South Africa at the end of the year, that sort of shut the door on a Sehwag-Gambhir opening partnership for the future?
No, I don't think so, because I think, look, for South Africa, we'll need 4 opening batsmen, and I would imagine that Gautam Gambhir and Virendra Sehwag will still be in the frame when the selection committee meets. I'm not saying they'll be selected, but there's a good chance, because on South African pitches, on those hard and bouncier pitches, you'll need opening batsmen. So you could actually have a situation where you will have 1, 2, 3 opening batsmen, and then maybe 4, 5, 6. So that could well happen, and so I don't think it's curtains for Gambhir and Sehwag. Maybe as a partnership, it might be, but individually, I think they could still come in for one of the players, or to bat down the order at number 3.
Talk about players batting down the order, Sonny. Michael Clarke's back injury is a worry. He's had it now for probably 3 or 4, 5 years now. The little fellow's been carrying the Australian team for a long time, and that's what happens. You get a sore back after a while. And look, I have tried to contact Michael. Look, he'll bat no doubt tomorrow, but if his back is as bad as it is and continues on to Delhi, now the question is, will the Australians go with Watson to captain the team after what's happened in Mohali, Sonny?
Yes, in fact, I actually mentioned this to Alan Border, that this could well happen in case Michael Clarke doesn't recover in time for Delhi. But apparently, this back spasm that he has can actually go overnight. So he could be fit for tomorrow as well as for the Delhi test. But yes, I think it's going to be quite a situation in case Michael Clarke is not fit for Delhi and Shane Watson decides to come back.
So we're running short of time. I meant to ask you this question yesterday when Shikhar Dhawan was going all guns blazing. He obviously just got out making 2 runs today. Do you think you could ever grow a moustache like him?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Well, I've actually grown a moustache like that. You can have a look at some photographs of the late 80s or early 80s, you'll find. And mine was a darn sight more scarier than Shikhar Dhawan's moustache was.
Do you know any attempt on getting a moustache like that?
I can grow on the sides, but in the middle, I've got the Chinese. I'm hopeless. I'm not good. Most Australian batsmen used to in the old days when Sonny was playing with the moustaches and all the facial hair. I never really liked it.
All right, Mr. Gavaskar, Mr. Jones, thank you so much for joining us on NDTV 24/7.